This is the first time we have been exploring now, begin to explore this new region of space, interstellar space.
Way out in the cold, silent edge of our solar system, where sunlight barely touches, Voyager 2 still sends messages back to Earth. It's revealed stunning new worlds with incredible images and discoveries. But now, it's transmitted a strange, scrambled signal that NASA can't figure out. It's not from a faulty part. It's coming from somewhere beyond. The signal hints that the edge of the solar system might hold something ancient, complex, and possibly intelligent, pushing us to rethink what might be out there. The unexpected signal. Voyager 2 has been speeding through space for over 45 years, traveling more than 34,000 miles per hour. It's one of NASA's most trusted space explorers, quietly sending back valuable data from places far beyond our solar system. For decades, it has delivered steady updates, plasma readings, magnetic field information, and cosmic ray data. Even though its technology is old, it has worked far better than anyone expected. But recently, something strange happened. NASA's Deep Space Network, which keeps in touch with Voyager 2, noticed a problem. The system that helps the spacecraft stay pointed at Earth, the attitude, articulation, and control system, started acting weird. Suddenly, Voyager 2 was sending its data through a computer on board that had been shut down for decades. That old computer wasn't meant to be in use anymore, and the data coming through it became scrambled and unreadable. Oddly enough, Voyager 2's signal was still strong. It was still pointing toward Earth, which meant the spacecraft itself wasn't broken. Nothing mechanical seemed wrong. So, what was going on? The heartbeat. At first, engineers thought it was just a malfunction, but the more they looked into it, the stranger it got. No one on Earth had told Voyager to reroute its data. It had done it on its own. In all its years in space, Voyager 2 had never done anything like this before. That's when the question changed. Instead of asking what was broken, engineers began wondering why the spacecraft had switched to a dead system. When they dug deeper, they made an even more surprising discovery. The messed up data wasn't just random. It had a pattern. It looked like something from Voyager's earliest days, as if the spacecraft was remembering its first launch instructions. Even weirder, hidden in that data, was a soft, low-frequency signal. It repeated every 7.4 seconds. NASA engineers started calling it the heartbeat. This heartbeat didn't match anything Voyager 2 had been programmed with. It didn't come from any part of the spacecraft that engineers could identify. In fact, it didn't seem to be coming from Voyager at all. It looked like it was coming from somewhere outside the spacecraft. That changed everything. Maybe this wasn't just a glitch. Maybe Voyager 2 had picked up something in space, something trying to communicate, or something influencing its systems in ways we don't understand. Some experts thought it might be a software issue, like a ghost in the machine. But others weren't so sure. The signal was too steady, too exact. Edge of space. Voyager 2 is now about 13 billion miles away from Earth. That's not just far, it's almost hard to imagine. Since November 2018, it has been floating outside the sun's protective bubble, known as the heliosphere. Out there, in what scientists call the interstellar medium, Voyager 2 is surrounded by a strange and quiet world filled with cosmic rays, bits of ionized gas, and magnetic fields from faraway stars. It's currently in the part of the sky we call the constellation Pavo. Because of its distance, any signal Voyager 2 sends back to Earth takes over 19 hours to reach NASA's listening stations. Even though the spacecraft was launched way back in 1977, nearly 5 decades ago, it's still working. It gets its power from special devices called radioisotope thermoelectric generators. These are slowly running out of juice and are expected to stop working around 2028. But until then, Voyager 2 is still doing its job, sending valuable information about the space beyond our solar system. As it moved near the heliopause, the wild and messy edge where our sun's solar wind clashes with the space between stars, it picked up a structured signal. The heliopause isn't a clean border. It's a chaotic region with shifting magnetic fields and changing plasma densities. When Voyager 2 crossed it, one of its instruments noticed a sudden spike in plasma density, confirming that it had entered true interstellar space. But the real mystery is the strange signal. It hints that something unusual may have happened, almost as if Voyager 2 was scanned or briefly interacted with by something unknown. This is different from what Voyager 1 experienced in 2012, which had a smoother crossing and didn't pick up anything similar. Voyager 2, on the other hand, still has more instruments turned on, including a magnetometer and a cosmic ray detector. These tools picked up signs that suggest an outside force may have responded to the probe's presence. Scientists don't fully understand what caused the signal. Some think it could be natural, like a plasma wave bouncing around the heliopause. Others wonder if it's something even stranger, maybe a structured energy field reacting to Voyager's arrival. Some recent research suggests that the heliopause could actually shape or change signals that pass through it, like a natural amplifier. So maybe the signal was always there, and Voyager 2 just happened to catch it at the right moment. Silent watcher on duty. When people think about space missions, they picture exciting things: rockets blasting off, astronauts floating in space, or rovers crawling across alien landscapes. But behind all that action is a quiet hero that rarely gets attention: NASA's Deep Space Network, or DSN. It's not flashy, but without it, we wouldn't be hearing from Voyager 2 at all. The DSN is a global network with 3 giant stations located in California, Spain, and Australia. Each one has huge radio dishes, some stretching up to 70 meters wide, built to catch the faintest signals from space. And when we say faint, we're talking unbelievably weak. Voyager 2's messages arrive at Earth as signals just a billionth of a watt. Yet the DSN's precision and patience let us keep listening to this nearly 50-year-old spacecraft. Not long ago, DSN engineers picked up something strange. Voyager 2 started sending messed up data, and some of it seemed to be rerouted through an old, long unused onboard computer. Even more puzzling, the probe began to send out a steady, heartbeat-like signal that didn't match anything we've seen before. This bizarre event was labeled Event F2X, and since then, the details have been tightly kept under wraps. Because the DSN is always on the lookout and studying incoming data closely, its team was the first to notice something wasn't right. Using a mix of experience and old-school tools, some as old as the spacecraft, they managed to restore part of the communication. But that odd rerouting made them wonder, what other strange things could the DSN be missing? Keeping in touch with Voyager 2 isn't simple. The spacecraft is almost 50 years old, running on tech that seems ancient today. To read its messages, engineers often turn to outdated software and hardware they've had to keep alive, or rebuild entirely. Add Earth's constant spinning, and you'll understand why DSN dishes are spread across 3 continents. As the planet turns, the network passes the job from one station to the next, making sure we stay connected to our distant explorer. Decoding the message. NASA eventually came forward with an official statement explaining that a telemetry error had caused the recent issue with Voyager 2. They claimed the problem was fixed by simply rerouting the data through proper systems. But what NASA didn't say publicly is what they discovered when they took a deeper look at the original corrupted signal. Using Voyager's old communication software, the kind originally designed decades ago, engineers uncovered something strange. Inside the messy stream of data were binary markers that didn't come from Earth, nor were they part of Voyager's internal programming. When these markers were mapped visually, they formed a pattern. Hexagons inside other hexagons, repeating again and again. It was a design that seemed familiar in nature, but felt out of place in a machine-to-machine communication system. Some engineers said it reminded them of crop circles, but written in the language of computers. Others compared it to fractals, mathematical patterns that repeat on different scales. These shapes and sequences were not normal for space probe transmissions. Even stranger were the timestamps connected to the data packets. They didn't line up with Voyager's current clock. It was like the data came from a different point in time altogether. One NASA insider reportedly described the signal not as an error, but as a message that changes everything. It raised new questions. Was it a natural phenomenon that mimicked intelligence, or was it something truly intelligent trying to communicate? Zone of echo. A small group of scientists began digging into a daring idea. What if this wasn't just a malfunction, but actually a kind of reply, something answering Voyager's signal? They suggested that Voyager had entered a strange area near the edge of the solar system, where signals could be absorbed, altered, and then bounced back in a different form. Maybe that stream of binary code wasn't an error at all. It might be an intentional response. What made things even stranger was that the reply came through a computer on Voyager that hadn't been powered on for years. It felt like something, or someone, had reactivated it to start a conversation. That led to a bold, new theory. The region near the heliopause, the outer edge where the sun's reach fades and deep space begins, might not just be a barrier. Some began calling it the zone of echo, a quiet region separating different parts of space. Under this theory, the zone doesn't just sit silent, it listens. And when something like Voyager passes through, it speaks back. NASA didn't say much publicly, but behind closed doors, everything shifted. The Deep Space Network clamped down on transmissions. Scientists who had been analyzing Voyager's data were quietly reassigned, and independent researchers were warned to stop talking about their results. Internally, NASA gave the situation a new name: Event V2X. It was no longer treated like a simple tech issue. It had become something far more sensitive, both scientifically and nationally. Voyager 2's mysterious shutdown in March 2025. In March 2025, NASA quietly shared a significant update. Voyager 2 had shut down its low-energy charged particle instrument months earlier, back in October 2024. The plasma science instrument had also been powered down. According to NASA, these steps were needed to conserve energy and help the aging spacecraft stay active longer. Voyager 2 runs on a special kind of power source called a radioisotope thermoelectric generator, or RTG. These generators create electricity from the heat of decaying plutonium. But there's a downside. They lose about 4 watts of power every year. That means the spacecraft has to carefully choose which instruments to keep running. As of now, only 3 remain active: the magnetometer, the cosmic ray subsystem, and the plasma wave subsystem. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory says these are smart, strategic choices. The focus is on keeping Voyager 2 going into the 2030s, even if that means powering down other tools to save every bit of energy. To be fair, the instruments that are still running are gathering incredibly valuable data from a part of space that no other spacecraft has ever reached, the vast region beyond the sun's protective bubble, known as the heliosphere. Still, there are those who suspect there's more to this story than meets the eye. The timing of the shutdowns. The timing of Voyager 2's instrument shutdowns has raised some serious eyebrows. Right now, the spacecraft is deep in interstellar space, a place where every bit of data it sends could offer us something completely new. The low-energy charged particle instrument was designed to track particles like electrons and ions, while the plasma science instrument helped scientists study how those charged particles move through space. These tools played a huge role in confirming Voyager 2's dramatic crossing out of the heliosphere in 2018. So, why shut them down now, especially when they're still working and collecting incredibly valuable data? Skeptics say the explanation doesn't quite add up, unless there's more going on behind the scenes. Some theorists think NASA could be keeping something under wraps. They point to past instances where the agency delayed releasing data during strange space events, and they wonder, what if Voyager 2 recently picked up something unexpected, like a signal or an energy reading that didn't match any known pattern? One idea is that instead of dealing with the confusion such a discovery might cause, NASA decided to quietly shut down the very instruments that might detect it. Then there's the question of power. Back in 2013, NASA figured out a clever way to tap into Voyager's backup systems to keep things running longer. So why not do something like that again? If the spacecraft and its instruments are still in good shape, why not squeeze out every last drop of data? Take this into account. Voyager 2 once witnessed Uranus's magnetosphere collapse, something no other spacecraft has done. Voyager 2 remains the only probe to have visited Uranus, a frozen giant planet nearly 3 billion miles from the Sun. It orbits out near the edge of our solar system, in a cold, silent region close to where the Sun's influence fades into interstellar space. Because of that, Uranus gave scientists a rare chance to study strange space behavior far from Earth. Voyager 2 only flew by once, but what it found there has baffled scientists ever since. One of the strangest discoveries was Uranus's magnetic field. Voyager's magnetometer revealed that the planet's magnetic field was unlike any other. It was tilted a wild 59 degrees off the planet's spin axis, and it wasn't even centered correctly. That meant its north and south poles were totally misaligned. This caused a lopsided, unstable magnetic field around Uranus, what scientists call the magnetosphere. Even more bizarre, that magnetosphere appeared to be collapsing or folding in on itself. Magnetic field lines were tangled, squeezed, and bent. The plasma wave instrument picked up sudden surges of charged particles, and Voyager detected strange, irregular radio pulses that didn't follow a normal pattern. Some researchers think this could have been caused by a strong burst of solar wind, or something going on deep within Uranus's core, maybe its magnetic engine behaving unpredictably. But one thing was clear: Uranus wasn't calm. Unlike Jupiter or Saturn, with their stable magnetic fields, Uranus looked like a planet in the middle of a magnetic storm. During the flyby, Voyager also discovered 10 new moons and several thin, faint rings, proving Uranus had plenty of secrets. And since the planet is so tilted, it basically rolls around the Sun on its side, which might make it more vulnerable to outside forces. Some scientists have even floated the idea that the strange magnetic shifts Voyager recorded weren't just caused by solar wind, maybe something else, like a weak cosmic signal or an unknown external force, briefly influenced the planet's magnetosphere. The data from Voyager hints that planets near the heliosphere's edge could be more exposed to galactic phenomena, possibly even something artificial, lost for a week. Recently, NASA lost direct contact with Voyager 2, one of humanity's most distant explorers. This happened after a small error. A command sent from Earth accidentally turned the spacecraft's high-gain antenna just 2 degrees off from its alignment with our planet. 2 degrees may sound tiny, but in deep space, it's enough to lose a signal that was already incredibly weak. For a spacecraft that depends on sending soft whispers of data across billions of miles, this slight shift meant Earth could no longer hear it. So how did this mistake happen? The error came from Earth. NASA sends regular commands to Voyager 2 to update its systems and operations. These instructions are crafted with extreme care, but even a tiny mistake, like a wrong number or an unexpected signal delay, can cause miscommunication. In this case, it appears that a command sent during routine operations unintentionally tilted the antenna. That means it was a human error, one small instruction that had a big impact. And since Voyager 2 is over 13 billion miles away, fixing that mistake is far from easy. The disruption left NASA's deep space network, with radio dishes located in California, Spain, and Australia, unable to pick up Voyager 2's usual stream of data. Instead, all they could detect was a faint carrier signal picked up by the Canberra station in Australia. This signal was proof that Voyager 2 was still alive and still traveling through interstellar space, but the signal was too weak to carry any real data. NASA couldn't read its instruments or send new instructions. It was like hearing a voice on the other end of a phone call, but being unable to make out the words. Suzanne Dodd, the Voyager project manager at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, pointed out that after 47 years in space, Voyager 2 remains surprisingly tough. But without a properly aimed antenna, the team can't guide it. NASA is now trying to shout a command using the DSN in hopes that Voyager 2 will catch it and realign its antenna. The challenge: the signal takes 19 hours just to reach the spacecraft, and another 19 to hear back. If that plan doesn't work, there's still a backup. Voyager 2 is programmed to reset itself in October 2025, using the Sun and a bright star called Canopus to reorient its antenna toward Earth. But the silence is unsettling. Voyager 2 isn't just any spacecraft. It's the only active probe we have in interstellar space. It's exploring the edge of the heliosphere, where the Sun's influence ends and the unknown begins. Losing contact now, just as it's flying through this mysterious frontier, feels oddly timed. It makes you wonder, where are its signals going now? They're still being broadcast, just not toward us. Could they be drifting into areas of space we don't understand? Could something or someone out there be picking them up? NASA says this is just a technical hiccup, but the urgency of their response definitely means that Voyager 2 might be detecting something strange. The Golden Record. Voyager 2 holds a special place in space history, not just because of where it's gone, but because of what it carries: the Voyager Golden Record. This 12-inch gold-plated copper disc was created as a message from humanity to any intelligent life that might one day find it. Launched in 1977 and guided by the vision of Carl Sagan, the Golden Record was designed to tell the story of Earth to the cosmos. It holds 115 images, greetings in 55 different languages, and sounds from nature, like waves crashing, birds singing, and even the roar of thunder. There's also 90 minutes of music, ranging from Beethoven to traditional drumming from Senegal. The record is housed in an aluminum cover, complete with a stylus and a diagram showing how to play it. This wasn't just a random mix of sounds and pictures, it was a carefully crafted message to the universe. One of the most brilliant features is a map made using pulsars, spinning stars that serve as cosmic landmarks. The map shows exactly where our solar system sits in the Milky Way, and the sounds themselves tell a deeply human story: a mother singing to her child, the songs of whales, the rhythms of life on Earth. It's a moving time capsule, a golden snapshot of who we are. But now, as Voyager 2's systems slowly go dark, there's something haunting about the contrast. While its instruments may fall silent, the Golden Record keeps drifting through space, still playing Earth's song. It raises a fascinating question. In the moments when Voyager 2 can no longer speak to us, could its message be heard by something or someone else? Thanks for watching. Stick around for more incredible stories from the edge of the unknown.